Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see, in this game I'm playing the Tier 10 US Destroyer gearing. The map is Trap. The mode is Domination with Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie caps. Matchmaking. Um, there's no CV, but there's a little bit of radar in the form of the Nevsky and lots of torpedoes. I spawn center, so I want to see if I can help at Bravo. I was really hoping to see that sub start moving early, but didn't look like he was. This is a very challenging spot to spawn on this map. It's worse if you're facing a CV, because almost always a CV will run planes here uh, fairly early. Often planes will come right to the Bravo cap, but even if the CVs scouts Alpha or Charlie first, they end up coming here right after that. I've got a little bit of support out on this port side, and I've got Zhao behind me on my starboard side. And it does look like the sub is underway now. So I'll have some help at the cap, I hope. Of course, it's World of Warships, you never know. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the sub player just started, moving in a circle. You just never know. 16.5 kilometer range on these torpedoes means I am going to throw some torpedoes ahead of that Kur first. It does look to me as though he's headed around the corner of that island. And having put torpedoes out there, I'll go ahead and see what I can do here at the cap. I think probably my biggest concern short term as I consider pushing in here is the Z-52. Z-52 has long range hydro, it lasts a long time. Z-52 can push toward you and smoke up and continue to see you because of that long range hydro, and can often get multiple volleys off along with their teammate or teammates while you're trying to get away. Just checking out how those torpedoes are looking. They're looking pretty good. Our Daring is doing what he can out at Alpha. He's got the Nevsky on that side. I'm a little concerned that the Daring is sitting broadside to the potential for torpedo attack from his port side north of his position. I'm always concerned when I see that. Now, of course, you might be looking at the minimap and saying, well, kind of, aren't you doing the same thing? Well, I'm really not. The island there creates a zone where I know there can't be torpedo strike. So I'm angled somewhat against Charlie and somewhat against Alpha, because I know it's going to be really difficult. I mean, you saw where the torpedoes came, and that's about as close as they could get to me. And the same there. So when you hear people talking about use cover, that's one of the things that they're talking about. And you can see our sub is already pretty banged up. That's discouraging. You can see on the mini-map that the opposing team, their U-2501, was just north of his position. And although I didn't see it, it looks to me like, based on the damage that our sub took, it looks like he ate a torpedo. Now, I wanted to throw torpedoes here, but our Goliath is pushed up. Goliath is, I think, a decent ship. You don't see it played all that often. It's not competitive with some of the other cruisers that are available at the tier. But, I mean, he just parks literally in the worst possible place.
Torpedoes to port. Torpedoes to port.
And not only did he park in a really bad spot for me, he parked in a really bad spot for him. Now you see, when I pushed back this way, I angled to be able to do what I just did, which was get through torpedo strikes from, this just to the left side of this island that I've been using for cover. Our Zal's he's kind of doing the same thing that Goliath is. He's pushing right into the bad guys. I can see the gearing's turned this way. Now I know the Zal's going to be shooting at the gearing. And I'm expecting gearing to run this way, and when he does, I want to be here to catch him. Yep, he's headed this way now. Kurpers takes out our sub. Our Kremlin takes out their sub. Zhao and I are about to pincer this gearing. I know his torpedoes were just launched. He doesn't really have them. His guns are pointed to the Zhao. You can see the Z-52 is moving toward the Bravo cap now. And Zhao ate a torpedo or two. It's probably not long for this world. Bummer. My torpedoes all missed. Zhao goes down to fire from the Vermont. We're down 4 ships. Bad guys are down 3. And I'm hoping to capture this sort of cap circle, but Z-52 is headed this way, so I don't really have a whole lot of hope for that. Meanwhile, Daring had to fall back, I'm sure due to the radar. And our guys at Charlie just, they potatoed pretty hard. You can see the position of our 2 battleships on the 10 line. If you're playing a battleship and you're playing on this map, do your team a favor. Don't push up the 10 line. It's not that you can never get a good shot on anybody there, but you're not helping the team much at all. Now, if you've got half the team and you decide, well, we're just going to push, okay, that I can understand. But you can't sit on the 10 line. You take your guns out of the fight. You narrow the focus of your possible targets, literally just to the 10 line or anybody who's foolish enough to try and run south from like the A or B line. And you see Vermont, he's pushing all the way into the corner. It's just not going to end well. GK, what can he shoot right now other than the Ohio? So you got a GK and a Vermont facing off against an Ohio. Our Kremlin, he's doing some work. He takes out the Thunderer. And why am I sitting here? Well, I was kind of hoping there for a little bit that the Z-52 would either push toward me until his Hydro could get me, or that he might run back toward Charlie to help with the Vermont GK, but it became pretty obvious. There's the Hydro. He's pushed toward me. He's got me detected, and he's smoking up, so I'm just going to try and get out of his range. I fired, so I've got to use smoke.
Smoke generator started.
And I'm pushed out of the cap. Got torpedoes coming from Alpha. Might have torpedoes coming from behind me. You can see our Goliath. He just sat there, and now he's got red ships on either side. And he is not long for this world.
Smoke screen set.
I'm just kind of taking a look at, what is the tactical situation here? Well, it's not good. Kremlin and Montana, they're basically in the same square. Red ships just have to angle to one of them, and they're angled to both of them. Goliath, he's not going to be able to survive long, because he's the target now. And because he's so close, and he's going to be crossfired. where he's at now, even Vermont can get guns on him from Charlie. So
All stations, concentrate fire on the target.
we're up. I mean, they're down 6 ships. We're down only 5. But you can see the Goliath. He's pushed into hydro range for the Z-52. Although it looks like that hydro might be down now. And Goliath is going to just burn down. So that was kind of a crazy positioning blunder, at least from my point of view, by our Goliath player. And now, although both teams have 6 ships, the advantage is firmly in the red team's corner. Now, Daring is here with me. And he sees that I'm pushing, but he's reversing. He doesn't have a target. There's no one he can shoot at. So I request his support, hoping that he'll understand. We got to push and kill this DD that's here. He's still sitting back there. Now he starts moving forward, but it's going to leave me in a gunfight for several volleys where he can't participate. There's the full health Z-52. I have to angle a bit here because Z-52's AP will just shred it here. And I have to hope Daring can get guns on this guy eventually, but he's just taking his sweet time. Meanwhile, I'm bleeding HP like crazy. Now Daring's able to fire on him. We took out his engine. And he's going to smoke up. Now Daring's got hydro, and it lasts forever. Well, what, 3 minutes? So what does Daring do? Does he hydro and push in? No. He hides behind the island and continues blind firing the smoke. To be honest, I was just sitting here shaking my head. I mean, I realize, yeah, it's World of Warships, and you just never know who knows what about their ship or how to play in general, but it was really disappointing. Okay, so it looks like maybe we'll secure the Bravo cap. Just move out of the way of the torpedoes. And now my target is Vermont. I have to count on the Daring to try and hold Bravo, which really he should be able to do. He's got Hindi pushing toward the Bravo cap. Hindi has long range hydro, 6 kilometers. But Daring can keep falling back and create opportunity for Kremlin to be able to finish off the Hindenburg just by keeping the Hindi spotted. Now, Daring, to his credit, seems to recognize that. He's pointed that out. But you see his positioning, instead of turning the other way and keeping his range from the Hindi, he's kind of pushed in a perpendicular line, which has allowed the Hindenburg to get closer. Daring should be running south right now, just 100% south. But he's allowing the Hindi to continue to close the gap. Now, I didn't look, at least I don't think I did, but I think Daring just smoked up. so Hindi's going to hydro and blap him. Now, why did I throw my torpedoes when so many of them weren't going to be able to get through there? Well, torpedoes on the gearing reload pretty quickly, especially now that I've taken some damage. Adrenaline rush skill helps a little bit more, so I'm going to get a little bit closer. It looks like the Vermont plans to just sit still and shred the GK. GK is kind of nose in to the Vermont, which means his secondaries aren't able to do much. GK really should be angling a little bit, in my opinion, trying to get the Vermont to shoot its belt armor. I got a really rough torpedo dispersion there. Now I have to try and sit here long enough to secure this cap, with the goal being to finish off Vermont. Daring burns down the Hindenburg, but Daring is dead. So, that's not a good trade. Yeah, both teams now have 4 ships. and we're going to have 2 caps. And probably this Vermont's going to get sunk. But our Montana is down to about a quarter of his HP. Our GK is down to about 10% of his HP. And in fact, the Vermont might finish him off. Maybe I will land 2 this time. I gotta try and get it burning or something. Really hoping not to have to sit here to... only landed 1 torpedo. I've got to get fires started. I'm out of secondary range, so I don't have to worry about that. His guns are focused solely on the Kurfürst. That's 2 fires. Can I get a 3rd? And I can start heading for Bravo. There's no way the Vermont survives the fires and the torpedo strike. But he's going to probably finish off our GK. And he does. So the gearing takes out our Montana. Vermont finishes our Kurfürst. I've got 3 fires burning on the Vermont. Trying for a 4th, but no, looks like one of them's gone out. He's put them all out. I'd like to say I'll just count on the torpedoes, but I'm going to have to. I've got to get to Bravo. Now our Kremlin, he could have fallen back here. Our Kremlin could have fallen back here, at least in my opinion, and just helped to hold on to Bravo. Take shots where he can. But I think probably his thinking was, because he played a really good game, and I think he's probably a good player. I think his thinking was, there's no way we win on points, even with 2 caps. We're down 500 points. There's just not enough time. So he's got to kill somebody. And unfortunately, he gets burned out. So, again, no disrespect to the Kremlin player. He ended up with 3 kills and significant damage. But let's take a look at the board there. Montana, 0 kills. Kurfürst, 0 kills. Goliath, 0 kills. Zhao, 0 kills. Zhao, 0 kills. The other gearing, 0 kills. And our sub, 0 kills. Very frustrating game. I'm forced into the position here where I have to push toward them. I have to try and kill one of them. We're almost out of time. I know that the likelihood of getting blapped here is high. I've only got 7,000 HP left, but I have to try and make something happening. And I'm thinking he's probably baiting me here. He's already making his turn. But maybe I catch the DD. And at this point, 58 points is all they need to win. I can't afford to wait. I can't fall back. Kind of a frustrating game. So, why don't I show you this one? Well, it's essentially along the same lines that you've heard me talk about before. Never say die. It's very frustrating. You can play a good game. I'm sitting at 156,000 damage. But sometimes, no matter how well you play, even with that 156,000 damage and 3 kills, there just isn't any way to salvage the game and put it in the W column. You just have to do the best you can, head back to port, and try again. I hope you enjoyed watching the game. Hope hope this maybe learned something, or at least enjoyed it. I really appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. If you haven't already, I'd appreciate it if you'd consider liking and subscribing. And I'll see you next time.